What would happen if every nuclear weapon in the world today was fired and detonated? In short, nothing good. But first, let's have a look at what various countries have in their nuclear arsenal. As per the Arms Control Association's latest data, there are 12,500 nuclear warheads in the world. The US has 5,244, and Russia has 5,889, making up the vast majority of the world's city killers. The UK has 225, France 290, China 410, India 164, Pakistan 170, Israel about 90, and North Korea roughly 30. In order to prevent more countries from possessing such weapons, international agreements were formed, like the Nuclear Nonproliferation Treaty and the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty. Stay tuned as we are about to reveal the damage these nukes can cause. First, let's have a look at rather grim mathematics and science behind the end of the world. There are about 4,500 big cities on Earth, each with more than 1 lakh people. If we think about it, 2 bombs could destroy each city. That's a total of more than 3 billion lives in danger, almost half of all people. Even after that, we would still have 3,500 bombs left. This is a lot of extra power that we don't really need. This shows that we have way too many nuclear weapons, and they can cause really huge damage. It's clear that we need to have fewer of them for everyone's safety. Imagine if we combined all of the nuclear bombs and set them off together. One normal US bomb is as powerful as 200,000 tons of TNT. So, if we had 13,000 of these bombs, it would be like having 3 billion tons of TNT. This much energy could rebuild the whole island of Manhattan, including all the buildings and skyscrapers, using a lot of TNT. The closest thing we know that has this much energy is a volcano. In 1883, there was a massive volcanic eruption on Krakatoa Island. It was incredibly strong and destroyed a big part of the island, causing tens of thousands of people to lose their lives. The effects of this eruption were felt all over the world for days. But our stack of bombs has 15 times more energy than that powerful volcano. So, let's imagine we push the button. 3, 2, 1. What happens next? In order to get a very rough, explosive yield for all the world's nukes, we'll only include the US and Russia's, but assume they are each as powerful as the B-83. That's 13,800 thermonuclear bombs, all together producing about as much energy as the entire US does in an entire year. Each of these devices will hit land and detonate at the surface, assuming they are evenly spaced out across the world's cities and towns, and maybe a village or two. This will annihilate 94 kilometers of land immediately, but that's nothing compared to what happens next. 90,000 square miles of infrastructure will be blown away by the air blast. That's about 295 metropolises the size of New York City turned to dust. A fireball, 79,000 square kilometers, will vaporize literally anything it touches, and anyone within a 5.8 million square kilometer area would get third-degree burns. So everyone in the same space as 3,700 cities the size of London would be scorched. Lastly, the fallout and ionizing radiation would contaminate an area of the world about 284,000 square kilometers in size and give most of the initial survivors radiation sickness. Of course, a lot of this fallout would reach the lower atmosphere and spread across the world, so casualties would be far higher in the long term. So at the very least, hundreds of millions, perhaps billions, will die within the first hour. This is awful enough as it is, but what happens next? Nuclear winter is a hypothetical occurrence akin to volcanic winter. Insignificant eruptions, numerous aerosols and fine particles form. Remarkably reflective, these particles if they reach the upper atmosphere, lead to global cooling and negative temperatures. Throughout history, people have observed years of volcanic cooling. Prior to our existence, multiple mass extinctions were partially caused by volcanic emissions. These events, while also releasing carbon dioxide and inducing warming, resulted in many centuries of global cooling, potentially lasting even longer. A nuclear winter is fundamentally similar, except it brings cooling, and the ash-like particles become radioactive. Inhale sufficient amounts, and death follows swiftly. How many nuclear detonations are required to trigger a potent nuclear winter? According to one study, around 100 Hiroshima-style explosions would generate adequate black carbon soot for a minor nuclear winter. This could lower the worldwide average temperature by about 1 degree Celsius, countering recent human-caused global warming. Is the issue resolved, then? If all global nuclear weapons were detonated, nearly 100% of solar radiation reaching Earth's surface would be greatly reduced for many years. This would lead to the planet being enveloped in continuous darkness during that period. Gradually, light would begin to filter in more, albeit at a slow pace over the next few decades or even centuries. To put it simply, this would almost completely halt photosynthesis. Only the most resilient plants would survive, causing a breakdown in the worldwide food chains. A widespread extinction event, possibly affecting our species as well, would occur. The remaining survivors would need to navigate a contaminated environment to survive. Subscribe to Truth Revealed to stay intrigued and informed.